Hello, welcome back to the Western Front of the Great Patriotic War. All we've got left is to sort out this little bit at the bottom here, uh, such as it is. It's not a lot to work with overall. But hey, we have some men. They're pretty messed up, but they exist. And I'm really worried about leaving this open, but I feel like a 3,000 man rifle division is not going to do a whole lot against anything. So I think the best thing for us would be to just keep pulling back if we can. This thing is completely depleted, so I'm thinking just going to pull it off the map. $7,000 men, 1,700 men, which is damn near completely depleted. I just want to defend the. I just want to defend this airfield. Really, it's my only goal. All right, I will throw these guys into the fortress. And where's our rail here? Oh my god, it comes up through here. Jesus. Ooh, that could be a problem. That's going to be a difficult one to hold. Who are you reporting to? Where's your commander? Well, we'll just stick this guy up here for now. We'll move the Cav Corps up. Hopefully they can hold out for another turn. There's just so little we can do here. Gotta stick both of these guys on refit and hope we can get something. Why is this corps so far away? It's going to be difficult to resupply him. Do we have any other headquarter units that we could use? Yeah, we could use this Cav Corps thing, actually. Give this rifle division to the cavalry. And then take one of the cavalry divisions that's in the fortress and give them to one of the armies here. Where is the army? Ninth Army. So if we can stick him here, bring in supply there. Now that this has moved, we don't really care about it anymore. I mean, I would like to keep them there, but the thing is we can't really afford to spread out. We have to keep them stacked just to pose some sort of threat. Just so they don't instantly surrender. But let's give this guy at least to the Ninth Army. Oh my God, why is the Ninth Army so far oversupplied? Because he's got random units attached to him. Okay, so we don't need this anymore attached to him. But I want to keep this on the map just in case. Who's the 2nd Cavalry go to? The 9th Army. Maybe we could give him to someone else. Maybe we could give him to the 38th Army. And then that might solve some problems here. So if we give him to the 38th Army, he's in command range of that. They're in command range here. And maybe we can get a division here somewhat ready. Wish I could preserve a couple of these tank divisions, but I just don't think I can necessarily do that. So, in absence of that, I guess the second best option is to just pray. This would actually be a nice spot for a depot. Corson. It's just so much open land here. That's what's so scary about it. This is just kind of a natural location for a depot, though. Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 8 away. Get some supplies in over here. All right, I like that. All right, I like that. That's cool. Now the Ninth Army is fine. But let's give him some big guns. Some corps level artillery. Sadly, we won't ever get any of this back, but at least we'll put it in there. We'll see how he does. Now, this airborne corps has essentially nothing left in it. It literally has just that one unit. So we could give that guy from the southern front. I think it's probably a good idea to give this division over to the airborne corps. He's a bit of a donut, huh? Oh well. I mean, it's not what I would like or at all, but I just don't think we have anything else we can bring in. I mean, we can definitely start heading people towards the Crimea and towards the Dnieper, like Kherson, but I don't think we have anyone that we can really get down to defend Odessa in time. Guess we can start moving down this 7th Rifle Corps. But we're just going to need a lot more troops. We're going to need all those cavalry units. Let's move him down here. And we'll move his boss down there too. Okay. What about you? He's definitely out of supply. Okay. That'll kind of work. Definitely want to pour some more units into this area here. We'll give them to that airborne guy. Or the cav guy, rather. Guess we could always attach him directly to the army, too. But let's give him to the cav guy. I know he's not cav, but it's fine. We don't have a lot of cav. Eventually, we'll probably give him to the airborne corps. Those guys might just up and just hang it up this turn. I don't know. Where is your commander? Oh my god, he goes all the way back up there. gets no supply. Let's at least move these guys in to supply range here. There's no reason they need to be completely out of supply. Maybe give them just normal amount of equipment. And then I guess there's not really going to be anyone in range of him for quite some time. Don't think we have anything just laying around so we could send down there. It's the Kharkov divisions, but where the hell's the 21st Army at? Way up there. Let's drive them here and give them to the 38th Army. Because the 12th Army is already full. And we'll do basically the same thing with this guy. Just give him to the 38th Army. And then we'll forward deploy them next turn. The 18th Army. I guess they would be in range to help this guy out. We could give them... Yeah, just give them right over. And we'll let them rest for a turn too. Because, I mean, we want them at the front, but we don't want them dead immediately at the front. All right, so we have 4 APs left. We can turn this down to a 1. We can turn this down to or up to a 2. And then I guess they get it from this one. Or they got it from that one. But they were also further down there. I don't know which one I would choose. What is the capacity here versus over there? $27,500. Capacity here is exactly the same. So they're both the same size port. So we might as well do the one that's a little bit closer. Set that to be a 2. I think they would get their supply from that. I don't know. Makes sense to me. What's Sevastopol? mean, we got a good amount of stuff there, I guess. All right. Well, let's spend our last couple of points. We don't really have any available tanks. So there's not a point in building any tank regiments yet. What about some more artillery? We still have a fair amount of M10s. Running a little low on A19s. So probably don't want to do anything with that. But we could just do the howitzer regiments. Got a fair amount of B4s. Tempted to build some of them. This one's already at its limit. I mean, like, this is one of my favorite ones to build, but just because it has the ML20s in it. And I'm a big ML20 aficionado. This one's got the KS-12, which, as was rightly pointed out, should have been my best anti-tank gun, but forgot about it. I want to build some of these. Cool. Cool. Let's just check. Check the reserves one more time to see if we have any high TOE stuff that we can send forward now. A lot of these sappers, but a lot of them are... I mean, I guess there's no reason not to have them in the fields. How are these a core level artillery? They're being rebuilt. Got a lot of anti-tank regiments on order. And I guess it's mainly because of the lack of AA guns, probably. Not exactly sure why they're building so slow. But, alright. Well, I'm happy with, for the most part, with our turn. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but maybe we'll get there. We'll slowly get better at our organization here, and hopefully find a way to plug this gap in the next few turns. It is a big gap. Big, scary gap. And I just feel like I'm leaving too many gaps everywhere, but I don't have what I feel is worthwhile units to put to plug the gaps. End your turn. Let's do it. All right. Well, fingers crossed, hopefully that we hold on to a few areas. Not expecting a ton of successes across the board, but at least if we can stall out the northern front especially, just enough to bring in those extra troops, we can really make the northern front a mess for them, I think. Because there's a lot of good terrain for infantry fighting. And they've committed their tank army up there, so anything we can do to slow them down. But we'll find out. So a little bit about the multiplayer game that I started. Definitely am going to run some more of that this week. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to film every single episode or if I'm going to scale it back, because it can be a bit of a pain to have to turn on the camera and, use my mouth for something that's not like sipping hot cocoa. But I think for me, coming into filming for these videos, the whole reason that I wanted to start them was because I felt like there wasn't a lot of Soviet content out there for War and Peace 2. Everyone seems to play the Nazis, so I think it might be worth it to show at least one person playing a multiplayer game as well. So I'm going to commit to at least filming the first few turns and see where it goes from there. I think it is probably a lot more interesting to watch because, for one thing, I'm not going to be able to get away with the mistakes I'm making in this campaign. But at the same time, hopefully I will have at least learned a little bit from these mistakes and won't make the exact same mistakes. I'll be able to make different mistakes. But still, my concept of how to play this war game is that the stuff you don't know is actually the fun part. I think if you were to get to the point where you know every bloody thing about the game, I don't think it would be as fun anymore. Or maybe it'd be more fun, who knows. But I'm probably 5,000 hours from that point, and I doubt I'll ever get there. So I don't mind the unknowns that I'm faced with and having to make decisions in absence of strong understanding of how it's supposed to work. But I do think that it'll be a very educational defeat at the hands of a human player versus... Oh my god. All right, that was our weakest division though. Let's see what the priority 1 attacks are. They barely used their Air Force. They didn't fly a lot of missions. Definitely not compared to what we flew. The routes are such a pain in the ass. This guy actually held on more than I thought he would. I thought he would get knocked right back. That's not surprising. That was a weak little stack. This guy's had nothing left. You gotta fuck with my tanks? Let's see. You got the cojones? These are the guys we're hoping to just like bleed the enemy while our reserve line gets set up along this river line here. I mean, we were expecting these guys to get knocked back, but once they hit our new reinforcements, it'll slow them down at least. It's interesting that they chose to ignore these units here. I mean, they knocked them off, but they didn't kill them. I'm not sure I would do that if I was the Nazis. Seems like the AI has this behavior of, like, they'll push you back, but then they won't kill you. I don't really understand that. This is such a desperate little defense here. They're so weak. But come on, it's Hungarians and Romanians. It's not even real Germans. Man, this is a bloody turn. They are really going all in on us. There's an SS unit. Didn't expect that to hold even for one. I kind of thought they'd hit that once and it would just run away. Why is that holding so well? I don't understand that. Odessa's going to be a tough nut to crack for him as long as we can get supply in. And we flew air superiority specifically to prevent interdiction. And we're going to keep flying it as long as we have planes to fly. Be nice if we had a carrier that could do something, but I think my deployments here were just disastrous. I let myself get encircled, but if I spread out, they would have just been insta-killed. At least this pocket makes them have to one by one kill them all. Yeah, we might be able to break them out. Who knows? Well, we made it through the turn. It was a bloody turn. We knew it was going to be bloody, but the amount of combat that happened, it's like, and you know it's World War II, but the number of battles per turn is crazy. I guess, like, when you read the numbers in a book, they're just such big numbers, the number of losses and the battles. It's hard to wrap your head around until you see it played out in a war game like this. And then you realize just how devastating Barbarossa is. Because you understand it as a like that it has no true equal in any war. But when you see the campaign play out in real time, and it just when you're on the losing side of it, and you know there's just nothing you can do, it's really incredible to watch. Holy shit. Lost 123,000 men. Wow. That was a bloody turn. Good God. The Axis lost 25, almost 26,000 men on that turn. And we had 35,000 men killed in a single week just from battles. And like we were talking about last time, I figured we would crack the million mark, and we cracked it. Cracked it by over 100,000. So hate to see it, but I mean, I'm glad we had technically our best turn yet in terms of killing Nazis. Not one of our best in terms of surviving. Definitely not a good ratio. But, better than the early turns where you're essentially doing nothing to the Nazis. And maybe this is going to slow them down. Yeah, 5,000 more casualties than the previous turn, essentially. All right, well, I will read the events, and there's only one event this turn. Soviet partisans in Barbarossa. Soviet directives issued on July 29, 1941 call for the formation of partisan detachments and diversionist groups in German-occupied territories. Already organized partisan formations from the remains of the destroyed Red Army immediately become active in Barbarossa. Partisan attacks in Barbarossa starts intensity 1. Apparently in the old War in the East games, partisans actually used to be on the map. But in War in the East 2, they're not on the map. It's a passive attrition effect. That I don't know how significant it is. Oh, we got our AP back. So I guess those event AP things are temporary. Like it only affects you for a single turn. That's good to know. It makes me feel a little bit better. Got some more planes in, I think. Got a few bombers. But next time we will focus on, trying to reorganize the Northern Front. Now that we brought in some troops, it should make it a little bit easier. We brought in a good amount of troops. So these will be fun to put down. Brought down a bunch of rifle divisions, real nice strong rifle divisions. And we'll be able to build an interesting defensive line, I think. Where exactly it's going to be will depend on the results of this turn. But I think a good possibility might be to hold this whole river line here. So we'd want to probably concentrate our strongest divisions right in the middle. So in the areas that are not defended by great terrain. And we're going to want to try to pull out our tank divisions if we can. So I'd rather just not use them at all for this kind of combat. But they really haven't advanced too much with their infantry on the left over here. It looks like they're swinging them around to go right up the middle. So I'm not sure if it's worth it to hold on to Estonia, or if it's better to just give it up and focus on defending Leningrad. But we'll think about that in the interim between turns, because tomorrow I'm probably just going to play my multiplayer game, and then we'll come back to this on Friday. Well, hopefully you found this entertaining, and hopefully we'll see you again next time.